for enhanced customer experience and create awesome CX delivery as we move along 2021 and beyond. Uh, Before I embark on the journey to talk about the nuances, how it's going to impact, what are the challenges which are there, what are the opportunity lying ahead, everything is opportunity to a little bit tell about what is conversational AI. So conversational AI is it's the confluence of technology and interacts with the people in a human-like manner. How we have seen technology in all this while more as the enabler coming to the help of business and helping business to further the growth. In the context of conversational AI, we are looking for businesses leveraging from the conversational human-like behavior, which is depicted by the technology, so that you have best of both worlds, human-like experience at the same time leveraging the technology and taking it to the next level. What it does is essentially it bridges the gap between technology and the friction that technology may bring in terms of the experience. So you get the human-like experiences, and at the same time having the adoption and engagement, which is fueled by the technology. What is a customer journey? No brainer. A customer journey is a complete experience, end-to-end experience that we're talking about over encompassing experience, and how we are going to leverage from conversational AI for the over-encompassing experience in the entire life cycle of customer journey. I'm going to talk about that. And then we have the customer life cycle or customer experience that we talk about. The experience touch points which are there for the customer at entire touch points in the journey with the brand, all the interactions. It could be digital, it could be phygital, it could be the complete physical experiences, overall experience where customer can touch, interact with the brand, and how we can get the greater experience through the conversational AI I'm going to talk about. So the customer journeys, what they do at each stage of the customer life cycle, and the experience is all about how they feel about the entire customer life cycle at the each and every touch point. Once we look at the scenario, we're able to look at the very fundamental way in which we can utilize the conversational AI to take the experience to the next level. The more we know about the customer, his behavior, the more we have the intelligence built into the artificial intelligence built into the conversation. It is helping us get the experience which is human-like, get the experience which is consistent, get the experience which is scalable, get the experience which is 25 by 7, 365 days a year, which is taking it to that much more personalization level. At the same time, at the fraction of the cost, which otherwise would not have been possible. And how do we achieve that? What are the components of AI technology? So components are natural language processing, where we let the technology understand and interact how natural human behavior languages processing are. We don't expect the people to understand and know about the technology, but at the same time, technology understanding how human conversations are and interpreting the conversation, getting the intent recognitions. How are you when it is asked? There could be multiple intents, could be multiple intent states, could be multiple contexts. Understanding that by the technology is what going to be intent recognition, entity recognition, identify for this entity what kind of intents could be possible, what kind of scenarios and use case could be possible, and then fulfillment of those scenarios, use cases. What are those use cases? What kind of scenarios? What kind of various industry vertical use cases are there? I'm going to talk about that as I move along. And then give the voice optimized responses. No more text, no more robotic voices, but humanized communication and voice, which is output coming from the technology. Giving dynamic text to speech. This is something making inroads hugely in tier 2, tier 3 cities in the country, where people find it difficult not just to type in language which is uh, uh, this is not native language, but at the same time to read something which is in not in their language, or even if it is in their own language, How can we have dynamic text to speech, where the input and output both are happening in terms of speech? Then you have machine learning, the machine based on its own experience, learning and adopting and creating awesome experience with the knowledge base and experience that it gains over a period of time. It is human-like experience which machine learning will be there. Then contextual awareness. Now, if you look at it, how conversational AI is enabler to personalization. I talked about earlier the things which are going to pave the way as we move ahead in 2021 is digital, and second is the CX, the experience which is digital, the experience which is enhanced customer experience. Enhanced customer experience can be achieved only when we know a customer that much more better. If we give him that personalized service, and that personalized service, if business is able to render at the fraction of a cost, you're able to create a scalable model which is easy to scale, easy to adopt, and consistent, and at the same time is long lasting as well. So what are the various impacts where we can see the personalizations of the conversational AI would make a big impact? Social media in the form of chatbot. We have already seen inroads in social media where bots are interacting with the human beings, the customers. The experience are only getting better and better. More languages are getting introduced and getting adopted in this particular platform. That is going to grow to another level. People would not just type; people would start giving commands, and that's something going to be there. Web and mobile, this is going to be a fundamental shift I talked about earlier, from digital first and mobile first. We are talking about an era, the future of tomorrow. We are talking about mobile first and AI first. When you're talking about mobile first and AI first, we are talking about chatbot which are there at your mobile interfaces, taking care of whether it is voice input, whether it is voice output, whether it's text to voice, whatever scenarios are there, bots are going to be that much more human-like. In fact, with the voice capability, which is completely like humans, it would be very difficult to figure out whether it is the bot which is answering or it's a human being which is answering the query. That's the kind of accuracy we can get in terms of the voice. That's the kind of accuracy we can get in terms of the intelligence and the responses for uh, almost 90% plus queries. Similarly, voice devices and the virtual assistant, that has made already inroads in our houses. During the pandemic, it has only increased. As we move along, we'll see more and more adoption from offices, house to kiosks to even shopping experiences in shopping malls. That's going to make another experience. Next time when you walk into a shopping mall, who shouldn't be surprised if you have not just a human being which is assisting you, but a voice bot which is assisting you help do the shopping that much more efficiently. So that could be another important thing. Another scenario could be in the health services, could be in education, so many scenarios in entertainment, more and more use cases which we will see getting adopted for voice devices. The contact center will get replaced or augmented by virtual agent, which is going to be a very important aspect. You no more need human beings manning your contact centers, thousands of them. You can have virtual agents taking care of the scenarios for 85 to 90% of your queries only when they reach a particular scenario which is not possible to be answered by them, as a scenario where the contact center agent, human agent would be answering those queries. So that is something which would be there. Then if you look at it in terms of the agent, which are assisted by AI for recommendations, today's contact centers, you have enabled the technology to give that much more information about the customer behavior, his preferences, choices, what he's looking for, what he has last shopped, or things like that. The assistance to the agent is going to create that experience that much more smooth, that much more awesome, and help agent answer the query that much more easier. What are the benefit if you look at it, and what's the growth that we see in the customer driven use cases or organization-driven use cases, and what are the outcome and the benefits. The use case or examples could be for omni-channel experiences, self-services, real-time personalization, sentiment analysis, automatic knowledge base and content creation, predictive sales leads, conversational interfaces. Now, if you look at it here, the y-axis talks about some of the things which are driven with the customer: sentiment analysis, automatic knowledge base and content creation, predictive sales leads. And at the other hand, the omnichannel experience in self-services, real-time personalization, these are driven by the organizational needs. And what is the impact, if you see on the in the x-axis, is in the improved customer acquisition, reduced churn, increased revenue per customer, reduced cost to serve, increase employee satisfaction. As I've been talking about, the benefit of conversational AIs are not just enhanced customer experience alone, but it has very, very far-reaching impact across the experience, across the business cycles, as well as across the scalability and the profitability of the business that business have ever experienced before. It allows us to create improved customer acquisition. It was humanly impossible to have 24/7 contact center running, answering the queries, which are absolutely standardized. Whatever process you have, Six Sigma and the likes, you were never able to achieve the consistency in terms of the responses. There would be certain variability because of because the human touch and the individual aspect come into play. With the advent of conversational AI driven experiences, you can have customer experiences acquisitions which can be improved, can be 24/7, 365 days a year. That's another advantages there. Reduced churn, the drop off in the churn can be reduced. Increased revenue per customer is another experience and another outcome that we are able to see, and that is something very, very fundamental, and which is going to drive the growth adoption many fold. The reduced cost to serve. If you do a simple comparison of a contact center agent cost to serve a particular customer query versus the AI-driven conversational bot serving the query, there is a huge benefit for the business. At the same time, the enhanced customer experience, and obviously, it tilts the uh, thing in favor of the conversational AI. Increase employee satisfaction. If you're looking for the employee satisfaction, that also is increasing day by day by the conversational AI. Whether we are implementing it for the contact center scenarios, or we are doing it for the agents who are serving the queries, for them as well as for other businesses or other employee satisfaction, or if employee is the consumer of those interfaces themselves. In both these scenarios, we have those outcomes. Now, what are the benefits that we have looked at, and how we are going to take it to the next level? What are the impacts which are there in various geography? The research and the predictions show that by 2024, we are going to reach $22.6 billion of the revenue and the benefit to the business, spread across various continents from North America, MEA to APAC, Europe, and Latin America. India, especially, is the cusp when we're talking about so many users who are adopting the technology. India is 65% under 35. The adoption of technology has been uh, faster than ever before, better than any other country in the world. And with the data penetration, which is the cheapest in the country across the globe, has only propelled the growth of conversational AI and the technology associated with it, which is going to benefit the consumer experiences, all segment, all walks, all sphere, as well as the business growth. What are the conversational AI future aspects that we see? Chatbot, as I talked about, is something which is going to play a very important role. It is already common across various touch points, various websites, mobile sites. It is already there. It has started benefiting customer. In fact, customers are more and more comfortable. Researchers show customers are more comfortable conversing with a chatbot rather than a human agent. They find it more trustworthy, they find it more reliable, and they find it direct. And that is where the chatbot conversation, humanized chatbot conversation, the conversational AI driven chatbots are going to go further and benefit the customer and consumer both. The video bot is another aspect which is going to benefit the uh, customer and the businesses, and we see a huge engagement and adoption for this as we move along. The third important aspect is voice assistant in the B2C scenario, in the scenarios where people are looking for uh, the voice assistant doing a lot of stuff for them. Not just it has already made inroads in our respective homes and residences. It's going to make more and more inroads in other scenarios which are business like scenarios and B2C scenarios as well. Now, what is the growing market? What are the opportunities? What is that we can leverage from? If you look at it, as per our survey, we uh, realize 67% of the industry professionals believe that chatbot will outperform mobile apps in the next 5 years. In fact, that's going to pave the way of completely new experiences. As we speak today, we have experiences which are conventional experiences, and you have bots which are interchangeably used. But as we move along, we'll have bots replacing the experience. That's going to be the default experience. If you go to the interfaces today, you have the conventional experience, and then you can switch to the bot and converts. But going forward, it's going to be bot, which is going to be a default experience, and the conventional experience may cease to exist or may coexist as the secondary interface. Increased efficiency. Now, this is something is another important aspect, which is going to increase the efficiency, increase the performance, increase the satisfaction of the customers, and in turn increase the benefit for the business as well. Customer adoption. Gone are the days where it is taken as an alien technology or something which is not uh, which is not accurate, which has not really reached to a maturity level, can be adopted foolproof across various use cases scenarios. It has reached to a level now where the adoption is only going to increase, the accuracy levels are only going to increase, and the customers are also more and more comfortable looking for adopting to bots. I wouldn't be surprised come 2020 we may have our keynote session being given by a bot, quite possible, and we can have interchangeably a bot also giving some of these sessions, or can be part of the panel, so to speak. So that's the kind of thing that we see. The growth we see is rapid. The growth we see is exponential, and growth is for the benefit of the customer and business both. Now, what are the areas of economy which can leverage where we already see the use cases and the adoption are going to be faster than other industry verticals? Banking, we see, is going to have phenomenal adoption for the whether you are conventional things, transfer money, pay bills, gain insight about your spending, set financial goals, check your balances, all these kind of normal conventional thing possible to be done by the bot, and you don't need to use the human interface and touch and type it out. You will be using conversational AI to do this thing. In fact, for a lot of use cases, we are working on insurance as a sector, both on the life and the GI, where the bots are doing the assisted journey. So you don't need a human agent to do the assisted journey. It is possible to be done by the bot. And these are again available on the the entire digital asset level or the micro journeys or micro assisted journeys, which are very, very beneficial to the customer and the business both for engagement and adoption. The second important aspect that we see in the B2C scenario in the gastronomy or food ordering or menus, for browsing the menus, looking at the recommendations, looking at the reviews, align with nutrition, diet, order and pay. All these kind of things are going to be the things of the past and the bots and conversational AI. Today, if you look at it, for a lot of these apps, the conversations are already taken over in terms of the support. It will slowly, gradually will move even in the transaction side of it, and the overall experience slowly, gradually will move faster than we could ever imagine in terms of the conversational AI-driven experiences. Businesses which are looking for doing very high engagement and looking for engaging their customers of future. They are looking at new ways of doing business. They're looking for adoption of technology with even faster speed and leveraging from those benefits today and going forward in future as well. The another aspect in the another segment of economy which is going to see a phenomenal increase because of the power of technology and the scale they operate in, the users they serve, millions of users they're serving. It is going to give personalized offers, deals, ask about fashion trends, order and pay directly. We've already seen in terms of our entertainment scenarios, all the menus which are curated, personalized, these are already driven by the insight gathered by the artificial intelligence. We are looking at what has been working in the background coming to the forefront and start conversing with us and doing those conversational interactions and working with us. In fact, uh, this is going to be the future. Now, what is the audience and how do we take care of the scenarios and how brands can leverage? Each brand has certain thought process, stand for certain values, has certain ethos, and they can look for different type of scenarios even within the bots for personalization. And looking at the target audience, you can have personalization even with the chatbots as well. So, for example, a chatbot looking at the scenario where the bot is taking the chatbox, the experience and helping customer get the that much more engagement and adoption, or the form of a joker, or the enthusiast, or a problem child, or the skeptic. So, looking at the user case scenarios, looking at the use cases, looking at the persona, the brands are advised to design the scenarios, create the chatbot experience, create the conversational AI, which can help both the customer and at the same time retain the customer for the brand. And not to forget, get the business value. What are these CX delivery with conversational AI? Today, businesses can win or lose customers in second. It's important to build smart experiences. It's important to build what customers are looking for. It is something which is remarkable, which is done, customized, specially for that particular customer, for that particular need, for that intent of time, for that particular opportunity. And all that is humanly impossible to be done. You cannot have, if you have millions of customers in a B2C scenario, especially or even in a B2B scenario, an army of people servicing customer. The cost of doing that is prohibitively high and still not scalable. Not to forget, it does not even give you the consistency and the guarantee of performance. But if you adopt AI, artificial intelligence, then artificial intelligence led conversational AI is helping you achieve the scale, helping you achieve the consistency, helping you achieve the personalization and insight which you could never think of achieving otherwise. With that, let me bring you to the main theme. Customer is the king, and when the customer is the king, companies have to put customer as the center of the uh, at what they do. The conversational AI is only helping us to achieve that particular scenario, to create awesome experience for the customer, create that much more value for the customer, and in turn more profitability, business, and value proposition for the business as well. Better experience can get you high loyalty, resulting into ongoing business success. And that is all possible to be driven by AI. AI is the reality. Conversational AI driven bots, conversational AI is the reality of the future. We cannot think of CX of the future without conversational AI. It's already made inroads today. It's only going to propel and grow further as we move along. The successful businesses are advised to adopt soon, adopt fast, adopt something which is going to benefit the customer, adopt something which is going to benefit their customer overall value proposition, and in turn benefit the business as well. With that, thank you very much for the time. Thank you very much for the opportunity. If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohar, for your amazing insights on conversational AI and how it has been groundbreaking for various aspects of our daily lives in the COVID situation. Uh, I would now like to ask the audience to please place your questions across on the chat window as soon as you can, so we can have those questions answered in place. And I would also like to just have a pool running around with regards to the type of insights that you have been able to learn from this session today. So we will have 30 seconds for that, and please do share across your questions on the Q&A part in the chat window. Other question sites, I would like to request the audience, if in case any questions, you can place it across on the chat window so that we can dictate it to Mr. Moore and he can answer the same. Okay, I think so. We have one question already. Uh, yeah, so there is a question from Mr. Jagmohan Rishi. His question is, voice note has been a good idea, but experience has not been very good. Very good. He has been tried. Uh, he has tried to have chatbots in the banking and airlines industry, and has asked the question on how we can make it better.
I think it's a very pertinent question, and it's not just for you, but a lot of industries, when they took this as the technology adoption, they failed miserably. And the reason was very simple. It was more like a checkbox as any other technology implementation, but not really understanding what is the expectation of the customer and how we can use the technology for furthering or enhancing the experience of the customer. And that's the reason why, if you look at it, one of a customer I would like to talk about, they implemented Chatbot a couple of years back. They were one of the early adopter, failed miserably. And one of the reason for failure was because it was taken more as a technology enablement, more as a technology implementation, not really as a business implementation, without really looking at nitty-gritties of the business scenario and the use case. Today, with the technology accuracy level which are available, the experience which is possible to be done, we are able to create experiences which are superior, which are having accuracy levels are completely in line with the business expectation. In fact, some places they're exceeding the business expectations. Third important piece is we are looking for a holistic overall experience, and hence we go with a very strategic scenario. What is a use case? So if you talk, for example, bank, one of the banks that we are working, um, we are doing a chatbot implementation. They already had a bot, and because of the low conversions, they pushed it 3-4 clicks behind their homepage. We looked at the scenario. We looked at the use cases. We realized when customer is coming there to ask for a particular bank product, all it used to do was just giving the URL. So if you ask about savings bank account or CASA or any other or credit card, it will just open a URL in the same window or maybe a different window. That was a awful experience. And even if you call it as a chatbot implementation, it was missing the conversation, it was missing the intent, it was absolutely distorting the experience, to say the least. When we looked at that scenario, we did the research, analytics led, understanding the user behavior, implementing those user behavior into humanized chatbot journey. So when the person is coming over there, he's not greeted by a bot, which is a robo. It looks, appears an experience which is of a human. If you're asking something which are context sensitive, it is able to answer the queries. It is also able to converse with you how I'm conversing with you, or you converse with anybody else, or how human beings converse with each other. That's where the experience plays a very important role. We have to use the technology, but at the same time, we have to understand that we are delivering this for the human beings. And hence, we take care of the experience part of it for the human beings. Once we are doing that, we're able to create awesome experience with the customer, and very satisfied customer, and very, very happy business at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moore. I know we are little bit running around of time. There are some questions. If in case you can type in those answers on the chat window, that would be really helpful.
Sure, sure, I'll do that.